Podcast Network Asia.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance.
Hi everyone, I'm Joan and I cover the consumer sector for First Metro Securities Research. In this episode, let me share with you our latest updates for Puregold Price Club Incorporated, where we downgraded Puregold to a hold call. Our new target price is now at 35 pesos, following the adjustments to management's bearish guidance. Key assumptions to our earnings revisions are as follows. We adjusted higher our top-line growth assumptions based on more aggressive store openings. This is as management takes advantage of its strong balance sheet position to ramp up store network expansion and fend off stiff competition from both segments. For Puregold-only stores, we forecast that the net selling area (NSA) will grow by 21,000 square meters this year, given the 30 net store additions with higher than average NSA per store at 700 square meters. Note that this is higher compared to the 5-year average at 569 square meters. Based on our discussions with management, the strategy since last year is to capture market share from competitors such as provincial grocery retailers who are facing tight liquidity conditions in the current environment. Meanwhile, for S&R warehouses, following the zero store openings last year, we expect management to play catch-up and open 3 stores this year. This is also to match its rivals' aggressive store expansion plans. For example, based on our observation, Lander's Superstores has opened at proximity to S&R's existing warehouse stores. But despite the upgrade in revenue forecasts, we argue for lower margins. Last year, we observed the sequential downtrend in both segments' gross margins. For the Puregold-only segment, it had to absorb some price pressures from higher commodity and price hikes from suppliers in order to support demand, given the price-sensitive nature of its target market. And then for the S&R segment, it is affected by the peso weakness, given that it imports most of its product offerings. We expect these pressures to continue well into the first half of this year as inflation remains elevated and the peso still relatively weaker on a year-on-year basis. That said, we are assuming that the gross margins of the Puregold-only segment to decline to 15.5% this year and for the S&R segment to 21%. But these are nonetheless still more optimistic than management's guidance. Also, at the EBIT level, we see pre-operating and operating costs to eat into margins as new store openings usually take up to 2 years to break even. So overall, we downgraded to a hold call for Puregold given the limited upside to our new target price of 35 pesos. We derived this based on our DCF model with a 12% WACC and 3% terminal growth. Nonetheless, we still see positives that merit keeping a watchful eye on Puregold, such as, first, the near-term earnings contraction to be followed by a strong recovery next year, 2024. We expect Puregold to rebound and deliver 14.4% EPS growth next year as the company's aggressive expansion plans bear fruit and margin pressures owing to high inflation and weaker peso ease. Second, sound balance sheet fundamentals enables Puregold to be insulated from the prevailing high interest rate. Among consumer names under our coverage, Puregold had the highest net cash position at 27.7 billion pesos as of end 2022. This has enabled the company to aggressively expand ahead of competitors who presently face tight liquidity conditions in the current interest rate environment. And lastly, we believe that management's bearish guidance and valuation discount are fully reflected in the price. Trading at 11 times 2023 forward earnings, Puregold is trading at a steep discount to historical multiples and peers. Our new target price implies an 11.8 times multiple for 2023 earnings and 10.3 times multiple for 2024 earnings, just within current trading valuations. That's it for our Puregold company update. Thank you!
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us, to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the FirstMetroSec family.
FirstMetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and FirstMetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of FirstMetroSec. FirstMetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.